Hello everyone, welcome to the Lewis Cooper Experience Podcast Experience, episode 16, which is a lot really since I got back on doing these again. Getting quite a few out now, which is cool. I've got 4 things to talk about this week, but all kind of briefly, so it won't go on for too long, don't worry, I won't take up too much of your time. Got my weekly Falcon and Winter Soldier review. I want to talk very briefly about the new Amazon Prime show Invincible, and also got some Black Widow news, which is very exciting. And I mean, you're not going to hear it from me for the first time, it's just me talking about it. And also, I'm going to have a little review of the Suicide Squad trailer, or the Suicide Squad trailer that's just come out yesterday as I record this. So that's what we've got for you today, so let's get started. So, first things first, episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was streaming on Disney Plus yesterday, and I really enjoyed this episode. I thought the first one was good. I thought it's a slow start, which I'm not complaining about, that's absolutely fine. I feel like as these episodes are about 45 to 50 minutes, that works really well, and I feel like it's going to be based like a 6-hour movie, so it's probably going to be paced as such, which is cool with me, that's absolutely fine. My absolute favourite thing, as I've mentioned before, was John Walker in this episode, played by Wyatt Russell, who's the new Captain America. And it's been interesting seeing the response to him, because a lot of people online have kind of gone, well, he's not my Captain America, and it's like, that's kind of the point. But, if people are getting into it to the point where they go along with what the characters in the show are thinking, and that's fine, because they're still enjoying it, presumably. So that's good. But yeah, I really like the characterisation of John Walker, because as episode before, John Walker, US Agent, is one of the kind of second tier characters in the Marvel Universe and the comics that I've always really liked for whatever reason. I didn't expect him to get too much backstory in this for whatever reason, but they really went into him and almost gave him the whole first part of the episode to himself, which was really cool. And you get the kind of feel for him where he's not a super soldier, he's not a superhero anyway, he's not enhanced, he's just an incredible soldier, top of the line soldier. And the little clips they showed of him training and throwing the shield and stuff were really cool. So, and he's got a little bit of an edge to him. There's going to be some button heads with him and his little sidekick mate against Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that was really cool. I like they showed Isaiah Bradley, the one of the early sort of test projects for Captain America, which I remember being a thing in the comics about 20 years ago, possibly, maybe even before that, but I remember being aware of it then, and I was a kid really, and it was kind of quite shocking at the time, but that's based on a real thing, like that happened, like in that time in the real world, like people, they experiment on African American people, which is horrendous, but they're not shying away from these things. Like, there's quite a strong racial undertone in this show in certain areas, which I think will be more of a thing as it goes on, but it's quite impressive that they're touching on these areas quite a thing, which is quite an interesting take, especially for what's essentially a superhero show. But another thing I found, it's kind of, they're going into a lot of Captain America lore in a show that doesn't have Captain America in, or doesn't have Steve Rogers in as such, which is really interesting. Like, these characters that have been related to Captain America for so many years, but he's not actually there himself for obvious reasons. And we got the little hint of Zemo at the end there, which is cool, because I really like Daniel Bruhl as Baron Zemo, and I like Zemo in general, so that's really cool. The only thing that's really bugging me is, it's not bugging me, it's not a complaint, but the kind of the banter between the two of them just doesn't really do it for me. Like, I don't really find it that funny. Like, it was funny in the films a couple of times. When it becomes a whole thing, like, I mean, I like both actors and that, I like both characters to some extent, but that's the only thing that isn't quite working for me. But it doesn't take anything away from it for me. I really enjoy it. But yeah, I think 6 episodes of this length is going to be perfect for this. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it carries on, and I really hope they do more with John Walker and he becomes a proper character. Maybe he becomes US Agent, I don't know. They don't have to call him US Agent, but if he gets the black suit, that'll be really cool. I'd like that a lot. So yeah, that's my Falcon and Winter Soldier review for this week. Another thing I want to talk about very briefly is the new Amazon Prime show Invincible, which is based on the comics by Robert Kirkman, and I believe he's a writer on the show as well. So I watched a podcast with him where he said it's really easy to write a show based on a comic you've already written, because you've already done it, really. So the reason I want to talk about it briefly is I've only watched 1 episode, and it's one of those things where I've mentioned it to quite a few people because I really like it after 1 episode, but I can't explain what's good about it without giving away what's good about it, and the less you know about it, the better. So the first episode's about just over 45 minutes, I think, which at first I was like, oh man, I was hoping this to be like a half an hour thing, but it yeah, it works. It really does, and it's a really nicely put together show. Really smooth animation, just really nice looking, and the voice cast is superb. And I'm a big fan of animation and voice actors. I have this weird thing that I mention a lot, where I can pick out people's voices like really well. If I hear someone in a show, more often than not, I go, bam, that's that person straight away. And like J.K. Simmons is one of the main characters in this, and Stephen Yeun is his son. Like J.K. Simmons is one of the big superheroes. And I won't give you too much context. And like Sandra Oh plays his mother, kind of thing. Stephen Yeun's character's mother, who is the titular character in Invincible. And yeah, I won't say too much. I'll probably talk about it more in detail next week. 'Cause there's 3 episodes up there now. I think they're going to release one every Friday, like they did for the last series of The Boys, which I really like because we've already got Falcon and Winter Soldier to look forward to for Friday, and this is just something else. But I don't like to watch things too quickly, so I'll probably watch them a couple more this week. But yeah, honestly, check it out. Like, it's kind of not what it appears to be in some ways. If you don't know anything about it, give the first episode a go. It's 45 minutes or so of your time, and if you're not interested by the end, then it might not be for you. I don't know. I haven't watched the rest of it yet, but yeah, Invincible on Amazon Prime. It doesn't cost you anything. Everyone's got Prime, haven't they? So yeah, give that a watch. Let me know what you think. Thank you. Item number 3 of the conversation, not the film, is Disney announced this week that Black Widow is going to be coming to Disney Plus as well as cinemas, which isn't too surprising, but it's taken them a long time to get around to announce it, because this film was meant to come out a year ago now. I remember seeing the trailers in the cinema. I went back when that was still a thing and going, oh great, can't wait for Black Widow to come out. Saw the trailer about 10 times because I go to the cinema a lot. Well, I used to in the olden times, and I was looking forward to it. And it's about time Black Widow got a film, really, and she's a great character. But yeah, it didn't happen. But now they've announced it's going to be up for an extra cost on Disney Plus and also in cinemas. And me personally, I don't think I'll be going back to cinemas when they reopen over here. I think they've just reopened in America as well. I feel it's a bit too early. I wouldn't feel particularly comfortable going. Like, I went in the summer last year to see Tenet, but that was when the numbers here, you know what I'm talking about, were as low as possible. So like, I'm not going to get too into this because it's depressing, but even then it was a bit, I didn't feel good. So I'm glad they've done this. I'm glad they've given you the option. I have found that like renting films and stuff is pretty extortionate at home. Like a brand new film, like one of the big films, it's like $15.99, which is a lot of money. And for some of the bigger films, I'll pay that. For Black Widow, I'll happily pay whatever it is. If it's like £20 or whatever, that's no problem. Well, not no problem, but I don't mind paying it for that film. But I can't pay that for every film that comes out because that's just ridiculous. But yeah, I'm really forward to Black Widow. I've been for over a year now. We see a bit more of Natasha's family and Taskmaster as well, who's a really, really cool villain, and they've managed to keep him pretty well under wraps. And I think Taskmaster's become more popular in recent years. He's started to appear more in different comics, and he's an old Marvel villain going way back. And he was in some of the Spider-Man cartoons and the Spider-Man game, and he's just a real cool, mysterious villain. And he has that. If you don't know Taskmaster, I don't know anything about the film, so I'm not spoiling anything. But his whole thing is that he can mimic someone's fighting style. Like, he can watch someone fight and then immediately like copy them, which is really cool. And we saw little bits in the trailer where he copies different Avengers and does different things, which again was really cool. And he looks great with the skull mask. It's not too kind of hammy or anything like that. And I don't think they've ever even said who's actually playing Taskmaster, which makes me assume it's going to be someone either we already know or someone else in the film. So I haven't looked into it just in case. I don't want to spoil anything for myself. I'd be perfectly happy if we never saw his face and he just had a voice actor playing him or what have you, and a stuntman in the suit. But I don't know. It depends how it's going to unfold. But yeah, he's a really cool character. Fun fact: the only person in the Marvel universe he can't imitate is Deadpool. Yeah, because Deadpool's just completely unpredictable. So yeah, that's a bonus fact for you. Enjoy it. Anyway, yeah, Black Widow coming soon to Disney Plus and cinemas. And the last bit of news is yesterday James Gunn released the trailer for his take on The Suicide Squad, and the movie aptly titled The Suicide Squad. It's a really interesting one because it's not a sequel to the original one. That people have been calling it the sequel, but it's not. It's kind of a reboot, but also using some of the same actors that worked in the first one. Most people would agree, I think. The first one, I wasn't a big fan of. I saw it at the cinema and I was disappointed because I just expected better, because Suicide Squad is such a cool idea and it's been around for so long. There's so many characters and stuff you could use, and for me it just didn't work for whatever reason, but it doesn't matter. And then this one, I like the vibe of it. I like all the random characters. Like, these characters are so random that I don't know most of them. You know, they're all just these weird little characters from DC obscure history, which is great because, you know, the Suicide Squad, a lot of them are going to die. So you have a lot of these smaller characters that can just get killed off in increasingly hilarious ways. There's a few standouts in there, like Margot Robbie's back as Harley Quinn. Whether it's kind of the same Harley Quinn from Birds of Prey, or if it's just another kind of Harley Quinn similar kind of thing, but you know, it's going to be the same character essentially. But I don't think it's worth worrying about that sort of thing anymore with DC, because it's all a bit all over the place. Just take each one as an individual thing. That's the way I look at it. Idris Elba, John Cena as well, and numerous other people. The big thing was that Sylvester Stallone's name was on the poster, and it was like, well, who's Sylvester Stallone playing? And he is playing King Shark, apparently. And I love King Shark, and he's a really popular character nowadays as well. He's popped up in a lot more things, like in the Flash TV series and the Harley Quinn cartoon. He's grown a bit of a following. I generally like anything that's a big animal. Like, those are always my favourite characters, the big animal monster characters, so that's cool. And he's been the real standout. He's been the thing everyone's been talking about from the trailer. And it's saying earlier about me being able to pick out voices. At first I didn't realise it was Sylvester Stallone, but now you kind of go, oh yeah, it is. He looks cool. Also, they revealed the big villain that was rumoured before is Starro the Conqueror, who's a giant starfish from space who controls people's minds using smaller starfish, which is just a ridiculous enough villain to be in this film, I'd say. But also, I absolutely love Starro as well. I was saying I like big animals, but Starro done correctly is really creepy and unsettling. Like, there's an Easter egg in one of the Batman Arkham games, in Arkham Knight, where you play in the Batgirl DLC, and you find a starfish with an eye in the middle that's supposed to be Starro, like in this tank in an amusement park, and it's the creepiest thing. And he just kind of, if you do him right, he does have that vibe to him. But yeah, I absolutely love Starro. I've read quite a few stories with him, and he's one of the oldest like Justice League villains as well. So to include him is really, really cool, I think. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's another one that's going to be HBO Max in America. We'll probably have to pay over top dollar for it over here, or maybe it'll be on Now TV like Zack Snyder's Justice League was. I don't know. But yeah, also it's going to be in cinemas as well. But again, that's in August, so who knows what the world is going to look like by then. But yeah, the Suicide Squad. And that about does it for this week. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end here, I do really, really appreciate it. Honestly, I do. Please leave a like, please leave a comment, let me know what you think about some of the stuff I've talked about. I recently released, this week, my new short film, The Last Man on the Moon, so if you haven't seen it, I'll pop a link at the end here. Please check it out, and again, let me know what you think, because I worked really hard on it. It took me well over a month to do for a 4-minute film, and a lot of the feedback's been really nice and really positive, so I appreciate that if you have watched it and you left me a nice comment or message me, which is really cool. But yeah, anyway, take care of yourself. See you soon. Goodbye.